Hello!
Hello, pretty girl. Alright, welcome to Doctor Who.
What are you, Romanian now?
I don't know. Whatever Drew is.
You
Much despicable me.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Drew.
Alright.
Hello, pretty girl.
Okay, welcome to Drunk Doctor
On
Who,
the toilet.
episode number 44.
44.
44, The Dominators. It is the 17th of February, 2020.
How did this get down here?
I have no idea how it got. What the?
How long's that been there?
I have no idea how long it's been there.
All week?
That was obviously you. Yeah.
No, I don't drink those.
Yes, you do. Right, anyways, the 44th episode, and it's the Dominators. There were 5 episodes from August 10th, 1968 to September 7th, 1968. Companions are Zoe and Jamie. The antagonists are the Dominators and their Quarks. Quarks are robots. No, actually they move like this with the hands. What are you looking at? Dominators and Quarks. Quarks. Anyway, so
Rago and Toba are the Dominators.
Rago and Toba are the names of the Dominators, yep. Alright. Anyway.
How do you do an ampersand?
Alright.
That's an 8.
Alright.
I know this is like shorthand for an ampersand. Yeah,
That's an ampersand.
Yeah, I can never only remember this one here.
Okay, that's an ampersand.
This is what would you call that? Shorthand? Or is that cursive and this is print for ampersand?
No, that's probably shorthand or something. I don't know. But that's an ampersand. I'm not sure what that is.
I'm not even sure what shorthand means.
Shorthand is a way of writing English in a fashion where you use fewer characters so that you can dictate things on paper in real time and then type it up properly later.
Is that why English dropped all the H's? Or
No.
U's? All the U's?
No, shorthand is something very specific used to take notes in business meetings and things.
So is that what they're doing in the courthouse?
That's a type of shorthand, but it's called something else. I forget. Stenography.
Is stenography where you just write down like the...
It's
the... what do you call it? The phonograms?
I don't know. I've never been a stenographer, but...
They did that in the... with the Bible, when they first wrote the Bible in Greek.
Half the Bible's in ancient Hebrew, half of it's in Greek, and a little bit of it is in Aramaic.
Well, there are scrolls that were in Greek, but then like by the time the Bible as a whole canonically was written, from Genesis to Revelation, this is all in Greek. But I think some of the scrolls in Hebrew, to save space, they would take out letters. So they'd have this word for God.
They took out vowels.
They took out vowels for it. So Yahweh,
right,
is just Yod He Wah He. So it's just YHWH.
Correct. And it's normally pronounced Yahweh, but nobody's supposed to know.
We don't really know what it is. And that was like their word that was like.
Right, because nobody's supposed to know the name of God.
Super reverent.
But it means. But He's the great I am. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
That's one of the many names.
Okay, how do we get off topic before we've even started talking?
We're talking about shorthand and stenography and taking all about.
What are you drinking?
And when the Americas left British control, they took out all the U's for. Well, I heard that was because of the typewriters to save on ink. When they started doing the press, they took out all unnecessary letters like U and color and honor.
Well, they
just shortened.
They didn't have typewriters then.
Or not typewriters, but printing presses.
Correct, but
they took out unnecessary letters to save on ink and.
Right, Adam Webster. Noah Webster and
Webster's Dictionary.
Right. and was it Jefferson? I forget. They went through and they culled a lot of stuff out of the English language, like the extra U's, the French spelling, and they Americanized it.
Glasses. Never became president.
Jefferson, yeah.
Jefferson.
That's Jefferson.
Is that Jefferson?
Yeah, on the $100 bill.
Who am I thinking of?
Wait, no, Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. Sorry. Jefferson was the third president. Ignore me. Franklin never was president, but he did a lot of great things.
Did you know that Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird instead of the eagle?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he lost that battle.
It almost was. Well, he wanted...
Another battle I wish he had lost was, I think Benjamin Franklin was the first person to come up with daylight savings. Or one of the big...
No, you're correct.
One of the big proponents of it, at least.
Correct.
Which I don't agree with daylight savings.
Okay, daylight savings time has its uses. It is less necessary now that we've got away from an agrarian society. And they're talking about getting rid of it, but leaving it on the other time. Not leaving it where it originally was, but where it would be if you permanently went to daylight savings time.
Speaking of advancing as a society, we had the Dulcians on planet...
Dulcia.
Well, the planet's called Dulcus, and the inhabitants are Dulcians.
Okay.
I think. Anyway, they had this one symbol in their drilling site. I don't know what it was for. I think it's like that. Oh no.
Okay. Anyway.
I don't know. I just like symbology and the different symbols that they come up with in Doctor Who.
Oh, you're gonna love it when we get to Gallifrey.
Because they had the symbol for the what you call it then?
You lost
the Cybermen. The Cybermen had their symbol.
Right. And when we get to Gallifrey, you'll see the seal of Rassilon, and lots of people have that as a tattoo because it's such a cool symbol.
I thought you were showing me something.
No. All right.
So they're an advanced civilization.
Seriously, this is a very straightforward serial. It should be a short episode. I do not know if it will be, because apparently we are off topic a lot.
Well, I have so many things on my mind header that I just need to... I'm not Catholic, so I don't have a weekly confessional. I have to...
This is your confessional?
I have to get things off my mind and just... Okay.
If this is therapeutic for you, then awesome. More power to you, and I will help you be... This will be group therapy, but...
Only because I'm intoxicated.
But just remember, it gets aired out to the world, or at least to the 23 people who subscribe to it.
Accountability is good.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to know everybody's thoughts all the time. Trust me, it'd be a curse. But yeah, 23. We have 23 subscribers.
I have a thick skin.
Good, you need it.
By the world, we mean our close and personal friends who watch us.
That's about it. We might have one or two randoms who found us accidentally.
Like the one person that disliked our first video. Or maybe that was a close and personal friend that disliked it. Who knows?
Right. But anyway, like I said, the Dominators, 5 serials, they all exist. Thankfully. There are no more reconstructions except the Space Pirates, because this is the very first serial of season 6 of Doctor Who. And unfortunately, it's the last season for Troughton. Not this serial, there's several more, but it's the last season for Troughton. Because he's my second favorite Doctor.
Troughton?
Troughton's my second favorite. Tom Baker, Troughton, Tennant. Yeah, the 3 big T's.
Mine's Troughton and Hartnell.
Well, yeah, you've only seen 2 so far.
Well, those are my top.
We'll expand your horizons as time goes on. That's the whole point. I'm imparting knowledge and understanding.
The 2 I've seen, they're my top 2.
Your top 2. All right. So anyway, there's this planet.
Where's Hartnell on that list?
Hartnell?
Yeah. Is he top 5? Top 10.
Hold on. Oh. Okay, hold on. Tom Baker, Troughton, Tennant. Tom Baker, Troughton, yeah. Tennant. Tennant's that guy, yep. Okay.
I'm getting there.
After that, I would have to go with Pertwee. Did you lose your pen?
I might have lost your pen. There's probably about 12 pins in the scotch.
Oh my gosh. I really hope you're enjoying this because it's so silly.
I know where it is, I just can't reach it. Oh, I might be. Oh, I can come around.
Cheers. Gambay.
I got it.
Good. Okay, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Twisted Tea, but we're gonna have to pixelate this because they're not a sponsor of the podcast. We don't want to get copyright claims on our.
Even nobody watches this. It doesn't matter. All right, and I'm drinking Magma Flame cinnamon flavored whiskey, which is much better than Fireball. Amazingly, I do like it. And I drink it. A lot less sugary, syrupy.
I like Fireball, so I probably like that. But I really like.
Wait, you've drunk some of this?
I have, yeah. With just a sip.
Yeah. You want some more?
I really like Twisted Tea.
You want to try this?
I'll trade you.
Wait, I've already had this, and I can't drink it on keto. Too sugary. What? Look, it's only 60 proof.
I know. I was smelling it while I was drinking. At some point, a little bit some fumes went down the wrong pipe.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So my type 5.
Drinking is a complicated procedure.
I'm gonna agree with that. All right. So Pertwee, the third Doctor, would probably be my number 4. The Gentleman's Doctor. No, up there. Him.
Number 4.
He's the third Doctor. And he'd be my 4th pick.
Who's the number 5?
Ooh. Oh man. No. Okay, it'd be a tough call between Matt Smith and Hartnell. It would. No. Matt Smith is him, yeah. Him.
Matt Smith
and Hartnell, you know Hartnell. Yeah, the first Doctor. It would be a tough call between them. I'd have to think about it. But maybe we'll give them a tie.
Be voting on our season finale favorite episode.
Well,
what is that?
We'll do that. Okay, when we get to the end of the season, we will vote on seasons 4, 5, and 6. Note 4 was divided between Hartnell and
so we're
and Troughton. So we'll just do the Troughton part of season 4. But we will vote on seasons 4, 5, and 6 and our favorite episodes, the best serials of those. When we get to the end of this, and while we do the cleanup, because we have to watch The Adventure in Space and Time, the documentary, the docudrama, and the Macra Terror. And there will hopefully, by the end of that, be the faceless ones for us to watch as well.
I don't have umbrellas and lemons, so I have to get creative with my garnishes from the drink.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Did you know that having an umbrella in your drink makes it taste 10% better?
No.
And a lemon or lime increases the palate intensity by 20%. Also, 40% of all statistics are made up.
Yeah. Okay. Back to Doctor Who. Okay. All right. So there's Zoe and Jamie and the Doctor and the TARDIS.
So apparently, Zoe, when they spelled her name on the captions,
there's
put
umlauts. Yes. It's usually over the O, isn't it?
Oh, they put her over the E in the caption.
Okay, umlauts. Zoe.
They put. So we've been spelling her name wrong.
We don't need umlauts. We're spelling it in English. Umlauts are German or Danish or something.
They help you with the phonographic pronunciation.
Okay, I don't know if they have that in the credits. I didn't pay that much attention to the credits.
It wasn't in the credits, but it was in the captions. The BBC official captions.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in the credits, but in the captions they put umlauts over the E.
Yeah, I didn't see that. But okay, cool. Alright. Anyway, the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe are in the TARDIS. And just before they materialize, they haven't materialized yet, the Dominators, who are this race of overlords
with
really big shoulder pad things.
The spinal disease for your hunchback.
Well, I've seen that. They just have the big, I don't know what they're called. You have a big thing on their shoulders.
There's a medical word for...
Well, hunchback, I guess. I don't know. Spina bifida? I don't know.
Spina bifida.
But, so anyway, no, these are like 6'3" guys. They're really tall. They show up on this planet because apparently they need radiation.
Planet Dulcus.
Dulcus. They show up on planet Dulcus, and there's an island where they did one atomic test once 172 years earlier, and they suck up all the radiation from
17.2 decades.
Exactly, 172 years.
Yeah. The Dominators. They only measure in decades.
They suck up all the radiation because apparently they're
2.4 decades old.
Okay. They suck up all the radiation from the island because there was You're like
5.1 decades.
What?
You're like twice as many decades as me.
No, I am 51 years old. That is correct.
There's this old 60s, 70s game show, Newlyweds.
Okay, the Newlyweds show.
And they ask the spouse a question, and then they ask the husband to guess what the answer was. But there's this like real hillbilly couple, and they ask the spouse how old her grandmother was, and she said, I don't know, 80. And then they asked the husband how many decades he thought that her answer was, and he didn't know what a decade was. He's like, I don't know what a decade means. And he says, anyway.
No,
you would have to see the clip.
I've seen the Newlyweds show, both as it aired and in YouTube clips. Alright.
Great show. Or at least it used to be. Now it's just really sexual. That's every single question.
No, it's always been sexual.
It's been like, not entirely sexually based. There were some fun questions in there. There's some risky questions. Risque.
Right. Okay.
But now it's just nothing about sex.
They asked a woman in the 70s, where's the weirdest place you've ever made whoopee?
Whoopee.
Right, whoopee.
In the parking lot of a...
No. Her answer was in the butt. And that's from the 70s.
That's the weirdest place.
You're in the butt, yeah. It's like, okay, hello. No, it's always been risque and slightly sexual, but I don't know about the modern stuff. I haven't watched anything.
Now the modern stuff's just this.
Okay, Doctor Who. The reason we're here.
I thought this was drunk newlywed game.
No, it's drunk Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
It's fairly obvious. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know at our funerals they're gonna play clips of this. It'll look pretty bad.
Oh,
Probably.
I hope not.
No.
Or I hope so.
Yeah. Screw it. Let them play this at our funerals. We'll be dead. We'll be in heaven. We won't care. All right. And everyone else can get a good laugh off of us, and we don't care.
I hope I make it to heaven.
You believe, right?
Man.
Okay, then you're going to heaven.
It's not.
There's no hope. Then you're going. It's the way it works. All right. Okay. So the Dominators show up, and then there's these 6 foot guys with these giant shoulder pad back thingies.
They look like quarterbacks of Notre Dame.
Of a weird football league.
The Notre Dame football league team.
And they've got these weird robots called the Quarks. And the first episode, you don't see the Quarks.
Did they not finish the costumes? Is that why they're not showing the Quarks on?
I don't know.
Because they're talking to the Quarks, and the Quarks are shooting stuff, but they go through, a lot of hoops not to show them.
I think they're saving that as,
a big reveal.
A big reveal, right?
Because they were terrifying looking. No, but also completely incompetent. They had these big spikes coming out of every angle of their face and all these weird piping tubes, and they looked very threatening.
They're very strange robots, but they're trying to distinguish themselves
like heavy metal
from the Daleks and the Cybermen and what was the one, the Automatons? Automatons, where we found Steven.
Oh, the real circular ones.
Yeah. They're trying to distinguish these from Yetis. All the other robots, right? The Yetis and everything else.
I like the Quarks.
Okay.
They were very quirky.
Yeah. All right. So they're kind of like big boxes on feet with arms that do this, that open up like this.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Right. And that's how they fire their weapons. That's how they recharge. Although we don't understand that because it must be some electromagnetic recharge from their batteries or whatever to do this.
Well, they have a certain number of power units they have, which comes from, I think, radioactivity. I think this is just how they recharge their weapons.
Right, but the power units may be fed from radioactivity, but it's got to be fed from the ship after the ship absorbs and...
But this actually is how they, I think, recharge their weapons.
Yeah. Okay.
Because as you see, as the budget ran out for the serial, so did their destructive capabilities run out. Because the first episode,
their power ran out.
They're shooting stuff and they're absolutely exploding in fiery chaos. Yeah. But as you get further along in the serial, they're still shooting stuff and it's just
because they're out of power. Yeah. They're out of power.
And out of budget.
Maybe. Okay.
They blew it all on that first shot where they exploded the spaceship.
Okay.
Speaking of, what happened in this ladder? Give us a recap.
Okay. 5 episodes, right? First episode, the Dominators show up, and there's 2 Dominators. They're about 6'3" guys. Look like
Rago and Toba.
Right, Rago and Toba.
Rago.
And they've got maybe a couple dozen, a score of Quarks with them. And they have landed on this island, on this planet, Dulcus, in order to absorb the radiation on the island, because there was once an atomic test there 172 years ago.
So, speaking of Dulcus and Dulcians.
Okay.
How do you determine what people of a place are called? So, like, we're from Texas or Texans, and then like people from New York are New Yorkers. But why is it, N's and ers, and how come we're not Tex-ers and they're New Yorkans?
It's usually determined by the people.
So there's no like grammatical rule to determine that stuff.
But I remember back in the 80s, early 90s, we live in Lubbock, Texas. And there was a debate between Lubbockians and Lubbockites.
And
Lubbockites won.
Because it sounds cooler.
It sounds better, yeah. So Lubbockites won, Lubbockians did not win.
Now, what we go by as a species is usually like Earthlings, which I don't like.
Humans. We're humans.
We're humans, but if you're referring to our planet as Earth, we would be Earthlings, I think, is
right, or Homo sapiens, right?
But I don't like that. Lings sounds really inferior when you're compared to Dulcians or Dulcites. Dulcians. I think we should be like Earthians rather than Earthlings.
You realize this is a science fiction show, right?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things. Even the phrase like Christians was meant as like a derogatory term until they embraced it and then wore it, as a like a badge of pride. They're like,
Alright.
you're darn right.
Sometimes you
like the little Ian of Christ.
right. Sometimes you reclaim words and make them your own. That's wonderful and that's fine. You know. You can take dork as a bad thing, or you can wear it as a badge of honor. It doesn't matter.
Probably wear the fact that I'm a dork. Oh. But Earthlings, it sounds lame.
Earthlings sound lame.
Yeah. And that's what we are, Earthlings.
You don't want to be a member of the planet Earth.
Earthians. Well, I would more proudly represent Earth if I had a better title than Earthling.
Earthling is fine.
Earthling is like ings are usually like fairies. Like a little fairy landling. Like elf.
I don't think so.
Or pulley.
No.
Which is it doesn't sound as dominant as like Earthians.
So you want a more manly statement than Earthlings?
I don't know. I just don't think Earthlings sounds good.
Mankind or whatever, but
well, that's like speciesism. If you're referring to the planet, like where you're from, Texan, New Yorker, Lubbockite, Earthling, Earthian. Right. I don't like ling, Earthling. What do you call people from Mars?
Martians.
There you go. That's a great title. Martian? This is better than Earthling.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm gonna move to Mars, be a Martian.
There's actually a movement to do that.
I'm gonna go on that SpaceX flight.
You better make sure that's okay with Sarah.
The first flight out. You know, I'm gonna sit her down. I'm gonna tell her that I don't like the title Earthling. I'm gonna be a Martian, and I'm sure she'll agree with me. She's gonna be a travel nurse. She just doesn't know how far she's gonna travel. Apparently Mars. She's gonna be the first nurse on Mars. I'm gonna be the first, I don't know, burger flipper in Mars.
You said that, I didn't. Right.
Bring my zero skills.
Okay, back to Doctor Who. Seriously, this is Doctor Who. Drunk Doctor Who, okay.
It's all applicable.
Yeah, okay. Alright. This half-hour episode is now an hour and a half. Thanks to Holden. Okay.
No. 15 minutes was my rant.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the recap. The recap is the one that takes an hour. My little rant is like 15 minutes out of that hour-long episode recap.
No. Each of your 12 are 5 minutes each. It's an hour. All right. So the Dominators land on the planet. They've got 12 quarks.
It's quick math.
Yeah, and they soak up all the radiation on this island, which was once an atomic test site. And apparently their objective is to gain fuel for their fleet.
What's that subtle? I was sneaking out of the shot. So
yeah, go whatever.
I'll
okay.
let you finish the recap.
Good. Okay. All right. So. Okay. So. They're soaking up energy for their own ship, which holds in the radiation, turns into energy, and they're going to create energy for the Dominator fleet. They're going to do this because this island is close to the planet's core, and they're going to drill 4 holes north, south, east, west, and then drill one in the center, send down a nuclear bomb, which will explode and cause a whole bunch of volcanic radiation on the planet. That's only fully explained during the course of the serial. So, then the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe arrive, and they want to go on holiday after the previous serial, Will in Space. And, hey, it's an island, we should go on holiday. But then they realize there's something wrong, because they then run into the robots and the Dominators and the people, the Dulcians, who are on the island in radiation suits. In the meantime, Cullen has taken a group of people. He's a Dulcian, and the Dulcians are super peaceful, like uber peaceful. No weapons, no war, no nothings. Super wonderful advanced race, all peaceful. He's taken a group of these Dulcians from the capital city all along the sea to this island to see the island of death, which has radiation. On the island, there currently is no radiation because the Dominators sucked it all up, and so they're wondering if it's the actual island. He crash lands there. His 3 passengers, 2 gents and a lady, run out and they're looking for someone to help them because they're crash landed there. And the Dominators, well, one of the Dominators, uses the quarks and kills them. 3 deaths in the first episode. Throughout the entire serial, there is a lot of tension between Rago and Toba, the 2 Dominators. The secondary Dominator, Toba, is very intent on destruction and death. The main Dominator, Roga, doesn't want to destroy things that aren't, a threat. He's a lot more reasonable. Anyway, so the one keeps destroying everything, the second command, and the first command says stop doing that. Second command destroys the ship that brought them over on the sea, that brought the Dulcians over on the sea. Remember, Lake Cullen is still alive. Then the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe run into the group that's going to measure the radiation. And eventually Cullen does as well. Are you there? Holden? Yeah, come on. Okay. Alright, so the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe tell the Dulcians that they are not of this world, that they are from another time and space. And the Dulcians, unlikely for Doctor Who, accept this fact, because you're here, you don't know about us, it must be a fact, which is strange.
You know who else isn't of this world?
What? Who?
You and me.
What?
Because we're dead to the world and alive in the group.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Is the magma flame setting in?
Yes,
You
but
seem significantly more intoxicated than what I was.
maybe. All right. But
you get this real slow southern draw once you
do I?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't change the fact that I believe it and I agree with what you say, but it's not germane to the subject at hand.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It all relates.
Okay. Alright. No, we are all...
They told the Dulcians that they're not of...
Good. Okay, we are all dead to this world, and we believe in Christ, and we are of that world. Yeah. Anyway, wait, where's your drink? Good. Alright.
I don't
To Christ. Huh? To Christ.
I don't have a glass drink, so I need to fake it. Let's do it with my ring, because then it can make a clink. There you go. That makes a faux clink. Otherwise, it's just plastic on glass. That doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good. Yeah, you can get glass. That's a bit better. All right.
There's a slapstick comedy routine where you pretend to hit your tooth on the glass, but you're wearing a ring, so you take a drink, but you hit your ring on the glass, and it sounds like you're just conking yourself right in the face. It's a fun party trick.
I'm married, 10 years. He's engaged, but he wears the ring anyway.
Why can't I have an engagement ring?
Put it on the right finger. You have it on. Yeah.
Why can't I have an engagement?
It's a bit unusual for a male, but he likes it, and so more power to him. They're getting married in January.
Sarah got me this. What?
You're getting married in January. Really? Here, have your ring.
Sarah got me this at a craft show that she was working on the side, and she got me a ring. I said, that's nice, and I wore it on this hand. And then I proposed to her, and then I put on her engagement ring, and we're sitting around chatting. I'm like, well, I might as well wear a ring on this finger then. If she's going to wear her engagement ring, I might as well have an engagement ring.
Size 10?
I think it might be like a 9.5, 10.
9.5, yeah. 10 is average.
I think we
male.
have the same ring size.
Yeah, 10 is average for male.
I think we're the same size. Because I think I wore your ring before. It's hard to remember because I was drunk.
No, I think it's a 10.
10.
It might be a 9.5, but 10 is average for male. 7 is average for female. Although
Sarah's
like tiny. She might be a 5.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'm really bad with numbers, and she told me she's like a 5, but like for some reason in my head I got that all mixed up, and I came up with some other number, and I told you that, and you're like, no.
For ring size, she's probably a 5. For dress size, she's probably a 0.
You're like, what ring size is she? And I couldn't remember, so I told you a number that I thought might be her ring size, and you're just like, no. Because I'm really bad. I don't know what any of these numbers mean. There's so many different numbers for shoe size and ring size and belt size. And
for men, it's simple. For men, it's so simple.
Sizes are simple. How can you be a size 0? Men's size is like a waistline in inches. That makes sense.
For men, it's simple.
That makes sense.
Your shoe size is the number of inches. I wear a size 11. Sense. My foot is 11 inches.
We don't need to talk about my shoes.
Right. For women, and for men, our waist is simple. It's inches. For women, it gets complicated because they don't want the real inches. So it's weird.
And I found out it changes depending on which store / manufacturer brand name you have. Like a size 0 at one store might be a size 2 at a different store.
Okay, that's the same for both genders. Sometimes
no sense.
It changes more for women.
No, 30 inches is 30 inches at any store.
No. But like a large on a t-shirt.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe different for Europe or America, and will be different between different manufacturers.
Like a Chinese large is like an American small.
Not quite. Medium.
That's medium. No. My brother-in-law got me a large T-shirt. It doesn't fit.
Remember, I used to live in China.
Okay.
Remember, I lived in Wuhan, China.
Americans, maybe Americans got fatter since then.
Well, we always do, but no. Americans are bigger than Chinese, but there were some big Chinese when I was there.
How do sumo wrestlers shop for...
Japanese.
Well, they're still petite people, Japanese people.
Yeah.
So how do sumo wrestlers have to get all their clothing custom made?
There gotta be sumo shops for the wrestlers. There have to be.
I guess so.
And they might wear muumuus or something. I don't know.
Those the kimonos, like robes.
Muumuu. Where the hell? Okay, why do you get us off topic?
That wasn't me. You start talking about my ring. This is
no. That's because you dropped your bloody ring.
No, after you start talking about it, this is your tangent.
I disagree, but okay.
Roll back.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I haven't finished last week's podcast. How did the splicing go with this?
No, it wasn't spliced. I put up part 1 and part 2.
Oh, okay.
I was like, screw this. Just part 1 and part 2.
You didn't edit.
I didn't put them together. Just part 1 and part 2.
Our video count is weird.
Well, it doesn't matter. Part 1 and part 2. And you put 43 and a half anyway.
I hear that's better for viewer retention, is shorter video lengths.
Probably,
Because
but it's not us, and we don't care about
retains
viewer
their
retention.
attention span. Like a 30-minute video, you get a lot more clicks than an hour-long video.
Yeah, we don't care. We're just here to get drunk.
We don't care about you.
Okay, where the heck
I
were
care
we?
about you.
That should be a ringtone that I never want to hear. Alright. Okay. So anyway, the Dominators show up. The Doctor's companions show up. Oh my gosh. I was into like episode 2 and now I can't remember what it was.
Only episode 2.
Well, yeah, you didn't leave that long. And you keep it around.
I was gone for a while.
No, not relatively. Okay, so the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe are with the team, are with the survey team. Then Cullen, what's his name? Cully shows up. And the
Doctor... did you talk about the tourism crew that all got nuked?
Yes, 3 of them were killed in episode 1.
Tolada and
the names run important.
Wahed. They all died.
It's like, hi, I'm gonna die. You know, they died. Killed by the Dominators through the quarks.
There's a pretty lady that died, but then another pretty lady showed up, so it's okay.
Right. Okay, so...
Did you talk about their Dulcian bikini suits yet?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Dulcians wear something that looks like, for the men, a
sort of like a
drapes.
toga.
Toga drapes.
Made
it's
out
really
of
messed up.
window shower curtains.
Well, no, more drapes. And the women wear the same drapes, but not opaque. They're more translucent, more diaphanous, with a black bikini top with the straps and a black bikini bottom, and you can see the midriff, which is really weird.
The straps aren't really practical. They come down in this U shape, but all the structural integrity of the top relies on that middle part that goes around the neck, because the shoulders are always falling off. They didn't They didn't have a very good costume fitting, because no one's shoulders fit.
Well, they only show 2 women, which is Zoe and I can't remember the name of the Dawson lady. Kando. All the rest are guys, and they all wear the opaque drapes, thick drapes. Kando, yeah.
Kando.
All right. Progress the plot. I'm going to use the restroom.
Okay, we're on episode 2.
Vaguely. All right. I'll be back.
So, here we have the invading force of the Dominators showing up on the planet Dulcus. Now, the problem with Dulcians is they're very pacifistic. They had this one nuclear test on this island 172 years ago, and based on that nuclear test, they decided nuclear energy is too, risky, it's too explosive. We're gonna not use nuclear energy because you can make nuclear bombs, and they're pacifists, and they outlawed warfare. They outlawed war, which I don't know how that works, making war illegal. It's like, well, if someone's going to war, I don't think they really care about the law against war. So anyway, somehow they established a pacifistic, society on this planet, and everyone's, they got rid of all weapons. They don't manufacture weapons anymore. So they're pacifists. You have Cully, who is the son of the chairman, or actually Cynics, the leader of all Dulcians. I guess he's like the president of the planet. His son Cully is this really rebellious 40-year-old child who wants to be recognized as an individual, but he's only ever, really seen in the eyes or under the goggles of the fact that he is the son of the president, Sinex. So he's really rebellious. He wants to be his own person. He does things that are illegal, like running illegal tourism trips, which is how he came by this 3-person tourism trip with Etnan, Tolada, and Warhead, who showed up on this nuclear test facility, and he's going on and on about how this island is dangerous, it's full of radioactivity, but they switch on the radioactivity, what do you call that? A Geiger or something, and it showed up as 0. There's no radioactivity on this island, and apparently Cully has this reputation of just being, a tall storyteller, the boy that cried wolf. He makes up a lot of stories and pranks and stuff. No one really pays him any heed, so they're like, oh yeah, sure, you brought us to a dangerous nuclear testing island, lots of radioactivity, blah, 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 blah. We don't believe you. The Geiger meter says, 0 radioactivity. So they all march out the spaceship. They start exploring. They see this Dominator spaceship that landed. And they're like, oh, that must be, the students or the excavation crew. We need to go see. Well, actually, Coley crash landed his spaceship because he just wasn't paying attention. So they're stranded on this island. So they're like, well, we need to go to the Dominator's help. Or the excavation crew's help, and turns out they're Dominators. The one Dominator, Toba, is just super bloodthirsty. He's just slaughtering people with reckless abandon. Mm-hmm. They start, charging toward. They're exploring. They're having fun. They're jogging around. So they start running towards the Dominator spaceship, mm-hmm. and then Toba's just standing there. He turns to the Quarks and he's like, "Annihilate those people."
Destroy.
It shoots the tourists. 3 people die in the first episode, and then the leader, what's his name? Navigator. Rago is like, you're wasting energy. We could have used them as slaves. You're wasting people. Stop destroying stuff. He gives them a good chastising. Anyway, Coley sees this. He sees his tourists get annihilated. So he books it.
You're still in the first episode.
Toba runs over to Coley's spaceship, and Toba, being the bloodthirsty savage he is, he's like, Quark robots, annihilate that spaceship, and they use all their budget on blowing up the spaceship, which looked great. There's a big fiery explosion and stuff. Anyway, that led the Doctor, about this time the Doctor landed on Dulcus.
See, you're still in the first episode. You got on my case for that same thing.
Oh.
Okay.
You weren't gone as long as I was.
I disagree. Okay.
I was covering, subtleties of the character.
The same thing. Okay. The Doctor and Jamie go to check out the spaceship that Cullen saw when his friends died. They get captured by the Dominators. They test out Jamie, determine he's of a moderate physical value, low intelligence, although he's learned a lot lately. And they should we test the Doctor? And Jamie only has 1 heart. It's the first time that any mention of multiple hearts is possible, even though the Doctor was, in the previous serial, examined into the space, and no mention of 2 hearts.
Lots of times they've listened to his heartbeat.
Right, no mention of 2 hearts. The first time 2 hearts is possible.
First episode, when Ian and Barbara snuck into the warehouse where Hartnell was, they followed his niece into this warehouse.
Junkyard.
He's just laying there, Hartnell's just laying on the floor for some reason. It never explains why he's unconscious on the floor. They go up to him, Ian, and he listens to his chest, and he's like, "There's no heartbeat." And then they turn their back, and then all of a sudden Hartnell wakes up and he's fine.
You are misremembering that.
I'm pretty sure that's how.
No, you are misremembering.
What do you call
an unearthly child.
First episode. There's
an unearthly child.
Yeah.
And you're misremembering that.
What do they call the first episode? Prologue.
Pilot
episode.
Pilot episode.
He's laying there.
No.
And they listen to him. They're like, "There's no heartbeat." And then you said they didn't mention his other heart.
You're misremembering that. Okay. Okay.
He sneaks up on them with a flashlight, which is really a sonic screwdriver.
No sonic screwdrivers with the same doctor.
I think it
but,
was
okay.
a sonic screwdriver.
No, okay.
He just used it as a flashlight.
No. Okay. Anyway. So,
Second episode.
I was already in the second episode of last one.
Oh, okay.
So Dr. Jamie get caught by the Dominators.
You should have said that.
I did!
When you told me to recap.
Okay, we're drunk Doctor Who. Okay, thank you. So this is going to happen. And, oh my gosh. So, Dr. Jamie are captured by the Dominators. They look at Jamie. They know he's like minor physical strength because Dominators are big and muscular.
Signs
and he
of rapid learning.
Right, he only has one heart. They don't test the doctor, which would be interesting because we get the indication first of two hearts. Which
Rago assumed that they would be identical.
Correct. The doctor plays dumb. I mean, really dumb. They test him, and he really plays dumb and tells Jamie to play dumb.
Quite entertaining.
So that they are not considered a threat. So they leave the doctor and Jamie to their own ends and say, stay away from the quarks, stay away from us, and we're good. In the meantime, Cully and Zoe have headed on transport ship to the capital. The doctor and Jamie finally get back to the base. They head to the capital. Zoe and Cully have not convinced the director.
Cynics, the leader of the Dulcians.
Right, the director. They haven't convinced Cynics, the director, that there's a threat.
That sounds like something you take when you have like acid reflux.
No, it's a Xanax.
Ask your doctor about Cynics.
Wait, you falling asleep?
No, I'm just
laying down. Okay.
Let me know when you're done with the recap.
Okay. So they are not able to convince this race of Dulcians who are peaceful and really prone to liberation. There's an existential threat from these Dominators because they won't believe there is such a thing as extraterrestrial life like the Dominators. In the meantime, Zoe and Cully head back to the transport spot on the island, and then the Doctor and Jamie show up. The Doctor and Jamie are like, "Hey, we're these aliens," and the council doesn't believe them, and the director's like, "Well, I guess I could now believe you, but your friends went back." Cully happens to be the son of Cynics, which is how he's able to get away with his, illegal trips to the island all these times without permits. And then eventually the Doctor and Jamie head back, but they saw that there was a quark waiting for them at the base, so they changed the direction of the transport ship and they kind of crash land on the island. They head back to help out Cully, Jamie, and the three people from the work party who's going to measure the radiation levels, who have all been taken captive by the Dominators and forced into slave labor, because apparently the Dulcians have two hearts. First time we've ever mentioned two hearts.
That's like the Time Lords.
Well, yeah, we find that out later. But yeah, first time we mentioned two hearts. But the Dulcians are not used to manual labor, but they've been forced into slave labor to help excavate areas so that the Quarks can drill in those areas. And they're measuring the Dulcians as to whether or not they are capable of being a good slave force for the Dominators. Most of them fall by the wayside. The last one standing is Zoe, because she's human, not Dulcian. She's more used to physical labor.
Because the Dulcians just automate everything.
Yep, they have a peaceful society. They automate everything. They're not used to physical labor, and this is brought up several times. Cullen manages
driving cars. They don't even have steering wheels on there.
Right, it's all automated. So Cullen manages to get away, get into the... Cully manages to get away, get into the sort of museum on that island where they keep weapons, and he grabs a gun. He's going to shoot. Jamie stops him from shooting because Jamie and the doctor have returned, and they've gone a long ways around each looking for a way to stop the Quarks and the Dominators. Jamie ends up using the gun, shoots a couple of Quarks, takes them out of action, but the two of them end up hiding in a storm shelter underneath the building that was the test site for the atomic weapons on the island where the radiation was, but now is not.
Bomb shelter.
Right, bomb shelter while the Quarks destroy the above building.
Now, for some reason, this being like a Nuketown nuclear test site where they set up mannequins and fake buildings to test the destructive capabilities of a nuclear bomb.
Only ever one nuclear bomb.
For some reason, they still have a fully kitted out bomb shelter with a first aid kit and everything, even though it's just a test site.
And apparently food that's still edible.
And the museum with weapons. Why would they put a museum on a test site facility?
The museum makes more sense because there's people who go there over the centuries, the decades. They want them to see the horrors of war and weapons and stuff. So
but the museum's
makes more
not
sense.
even, shielded from elements. It's in an exploded building with a collapsed wall.
Maybe the island doesn't have a lot of elements.
Which means they set up the museum and then tested the bomb.
No, the bomb was first. The museum was obviously later.
No, because Zoe walks into the museum and she analyzes the building as having nuclear damage from a bomb, which means they set up the building and then exploded the warhead.
Right, but then the museum came later when they were showing the horrors of weapons.
But it's the same building. God bless you.
Thank you. But yeah, the museum came later inside the building.
I'll let you finish the
I got all my notes. What about this?
What about what?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Should have been a 45-minute podcast. It's probably going to be an hour and a half. My apologies. Although if you're amused, more power to you. Alright. Anyway, so Jamie and Cully get stuck in the bomb shelter once the building comes down because it's destroyed by the Quarks. They eventually work their way out once they realize they have no oxygen supply otherwise. And then they slowly but surely help to destroy the Quarks by rolling rocks down on them in a good old-fashioned Highlander Scottish style like Jamie and them used to do against the Redcoats. Anyway, so eventually they take out a couple of Quarks. And they managed to free the slaves, which is the rest of the party. The three, except the older gentleman, Barnett, or whatever his name was, he's killed by the Dominators. Our fourth death. But they managed to free them, and they all go into the bunker, the bomb shelter. And the doctor manages to come up with an idea to get some explosives to take out the Quarks. Well, Jamie, of all people, comes up with an idea to dig a tunnel to the shaft where they're going to drop the main nuclear explosives. They can grab the explosive and take it away so they can blow up the planet. And that's exactly what they do. They eventually manage to send up a guerrilla force of Jamie and Cully, who take out several of the quarks. And eventually they get to the shaft, into which the bomb's going to be dropped. They snag it. The Doctor runs with it, and runs with it, and runs with it, all the way to the ship of the Dominators, and he rolls it into the Dominator ship. And then the ship takes off, and it's going into space, and they realize the bomb's on board, but too late, it explodes. And rather than destroy the planet and all the people on it, it destroys the Dominator ship. And it's awesome. But then the other 4 rockets that were going down the shafts were going to create a minor volcanic explosion on the island, and that's where the Doctor and Jamie and Zoe are, and so they're like, ooh, we gotta go. They run the TARDIS and they take off. And they save the planet from the Dominators, they blew up the bad Dominators, and, you know, everyone lived happily ever after. And that's the end of the serial. Next time, we go from the Dominators here to, sorry, let's consult notes. To the Mind Robber. Good serial. Also 5 episodes, oddly enough. Alright, so when Holden gets back, he'll ask me questions, and then that will be the end of the episode. And we'll continue in season 6 of Doctor Who. And eventually we will continue to catch up to our main watching group, which is there. It's supposed to up there where we are currently. And we will continue to catch up to the current show, which is there, supposed to, you know, here where we are. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll give you more entertainment, more episodes, occasionally skipping a week for me showing Holden and Sarah movie, because they apparently have not seen a lot of really good movies at all. Anyway, if you like these videos, you're one of a very select few. Like them, subscribe, whatever. I think I am obligated to ask that because everyone else on YouTube does. We're not going to monetize ever. We don't have enough appeal. If we ever do get enough, if we could pay for the alcohol, that would be great. I don't think it ever will. We're just doing this for our own benefit and fun, and I guess for some semblance of posterity to be shown at our funerals. So anyways, hopefully he'll get back soon and answer his whatever questions he has. Yeah, I don't know about this. Maybe he's more drunk than I thought, or whatever. Here he comes. Okay, finally. Okay, this show is so organic. No scripts, no editing, no questions, just whatever. We talk what we talk, we ask what we ask, we do what we do. And that's what you see. And it is incredibly organic. Because that was the way this was intended. The real deal. Hello?
You okay?
Yes. Do you have any questions?
Did you finish the recap?
Yes, I did.
Oh, what you been talking about?
Everything. We've been waiting on you.
I didn't hear you say what was that?
You didn't. I finished before you got close.
Oh.
What are your questions?
You've just been sitting here in silence.
For about 30 seconds. Yeah.
Not many. Oh, in the first episode when the doctor, Jamie, and Zoe reach the excavation party and they meet up and they're talking about how they're not from this planet and they're like, what do you mean? And Jamie's about to say, yeah, we flew over on the TARDIS, but before he can say TARDIS, the doctor goes, shush, 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 shush. And literally in the next scene, the doctor goes, so yeah, we're not from here, we came over on the TARDIS. Which, I mean, why is the doctor so protective and secretive of their spacecraft, the TARDIS, when he literally follows up shushing Jamie with explaining that they came here from the
logically, there was time in between those 2 points where they accepted the fact they were from outer space and out of time, and the doctor accepted that, and the doctor's then willing to reveal the TARDIS. But he wanted to stop Jamie before then because he was trepidatious about revealing that to those people until he understood that they would accept it.
Okay, maybe it's an editing thing.
Probably.
We talked about the Dulcians and their 2 hearts, much like the Time Lords. I'm gonna cross these off. Oh, so the Doctor seems to have a remarkable lack of foresight, as where in the 3rd episode they're traveling back over on a shuttle, even though they know the Quark robots are waiting there for them on the receiving end of the shuttle.
Right, Jamie says
but then they hop on the shuttle anyway, and Jamie's like, but aren't the Quarks there? Aren't they waiting for us? And then the Doctor's like, oh yeah. So he starts, it's only because of his, ingenuitive brilliance that he's able to then take charge of that situation and hotwire the shuttle into manual control where he can, steer it somewhere else. But he just had a total lack of foresight, even though he's this very intellectual being. And later on, they're celebrating the fact that he gave the Dominators back their bomb on their shuttle and they took off with it, and that they, reduced this nuclear crust annihilating nuclear explosion to just a small localized volcanic explosion. And he's sitting around there chatting and celebrating, and then Jamie again is like, hey, isn't that localized volcanic explosion here on this island, though? And the Doctor's like, oh yeah, we should get on the TARDIS. Why is it that Troughton's iteration of the Doctor is just so in the moment and has no... He's just seeing... It's done for comedic effect, I think, but still it reflects poorly on the intellect of the Doctor that he's just...
No. Okay.
He doesn't think about these situational things.
He can be incredibly intelligent, but still be foolish. Or not be able to do simple tasks. Albert Einstein cannot make change for $1.
What?
Because he was... No, seriously. He was so up here in his thoughts.
I've never heard of that.
It's true. He was so up here in his thoughts, he couldn't do the stuff down here. So, it's the same thing for the Doctor. Sometimes he's doing all these things up here.
And he can't do anything down here. He's thinking about...
Right, he's thinking about, planets exploding and...
E equals MC squared,
right.
30 cents.
And he can't deal with, oh yeah, that's where we are.
How did he work, common jobs like the patent office where he's doing short change? Yeah, that's where... Isn't that where he... That's where Albert Einstein worked, was the patent office.
Yes, he did work at the patent office.
That's why a lot of people accuse him of stealing a lot of his inventions.
Agreed.
But still, there's that's like a retail job where you have this cash register and they file this patent, and that costs $1 back then. So he would still, be there at the register making change, but he said, doing this really, his excuse was doing a really mundane job, retail job, let him, spend most of his time thinking of inventions, when a lot of people were really accusing him of stealing Tesla's.
We will never know.
So when people, I feel like there's a certain magnetism to famous people to where they just attribute things to them. Like a lot of people say that, the quote, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, that fish will live its life thinking that it's an idiot, even though it's really good at swimming. The point is, certain people are intelligent in different ways. A lot of people attribute that quote to Einstein, even though no one really knows where that quote came from. They just thought, well, Einstein's an intellectual person. Let's just say that he said it. Or in the same way, they say that he failed school because but that's an urban legend. He didn't really fail school because they said he was bored with his studies because he's so intellectual that he's failing, basic math. Apparently that was just an urban legend. He did really well in school. And then they say things like, couldn't make change for $1. I had never heard that one, but maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. I don't know if that's really something. I forget my point.
Yay! Okay. Alright, what are the questions?
Anyway, we were saying how the doctor had a lack of foresight. What was it?
I mean, the doctor...
This iteration of Troughton's portrayal of the doctor's regeneration is very childlike.
Well, but the point is, he can take care of all these details up here, but suddenly he forgets something down here. And Jamie reminds him of it, because Jamie's with this doctor pretty much all the way throughout,
Mm-hmm. And lack of navigating the TARDIS. Even though he successfully navigated the TARDIS back to Dulcus, just in the wrong time period.
Right.
He's trying to have a vacation on a pacifistic
planet. And it doesn't work.
Let's see, what else? You fell asleep in the 4th episode.
I was dozing off partly in the 4th episode, yes. But I've seen this before, you haven't. But
so you're able to do the recap okay?
Yes, I did. Those are slow parts, and so much Dominator. You will do this. Yes. Command accepted, yeah. Oh my God.
Command accepted. That's a catchphrase.
Seriously, I was falling asleep. Maybe it's because the first time I'm drunken, like, I've drunk anything in 5 days or something, I don't know. 4 or 5 days, yeah.
You drink more, how often? I really only ever get drunk maybe once a week.
On Mondays, yeah.
On Mondays.
Well, no, I drink more often, but I ran out of drink on Thursday.
That's because you're restricting yourself to only certain
I'm doing
types of
keto,
drinks.
right? So only hard alcohols.
Vodka.
So I didn't drink anything Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so Monday. So like 4 or 5 days I haven't drunk anything.
So you think your tolerance wears down over 5 days?
No, it takes more time than that. But because I haven't drunk anything, maybe it's more of a sedative than it is normally.
Oh, okay. No, caffeine is a stimulant, except to like people with ADD or ADHD. Then it acts as a downer, which is a diverse effect normally. In the same way, their medication Adderall is a downer to people with ADD or ADHD. But if a normal person takes Adderall, then it's like a stimulant.
No, I didn't know that, but okay.
So is that why?
I don't take Adderall.
But like alcohol is being a sedative to you.
It's a sedative to me. It's good. All right, what other questions do you have?
So Dominators use radiation as a power source, much like the Daleks in their first appearance. Anyway, I don't know if the Daleks...
No, it's static electricity for the Daleks.
Static electricity?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the first episode of the Daleks, they needed radiation, and the planet was radioactive.
Right, but they convert that to static electricity.
They convert radiation to static electricity?
Yes.
That seems less efficient.
Yes, it does. It does.
I just remember them setting off a nuclear explosion to... Neutron explosion to give themselves more energy so they could have more radioactivity.
Right, but they worked off static electricity off of the floors.
Well, that was a metal floor. That was it was just a conduit.
Right.
Like an electrical conduit, and that's why they set the blanket down and
stop them.
That stopped them. So I don't know if they still rely on radioactivity as an energy or if they've graduated beyond that. Because now they don't need a metal surface.
No, they have graduated beyond that. But in the first serial, that was what the problem was.
Mm-hmm. But I just noticed the correlation between violent, destructive species like the Dominators and the Daleks and their reliance on radioactive energy, radiation. Because, I guess if you would separate different species on different planets, the more violent species like mankind and Dominators and Daleks will eventually reach a technological point where their warfare graduates to the invention of the nuclear weapons. And then, here as mankind is a somewhat violent species, but also intellectual, and we make agreements and we kind of, assured, mutual destruction, and that sort of, there's a Cold War. And
mutual assured destruction.
Yeah, so that sort of calmed down but species like the Dominators and the Daleks, they're not open to those kind of negotiations. They ended up just nuking away planets. Like, what did you call the species with the Daleks in the first episode, the pilot? Or not the pilot, the second episode with the Daleks and
the second serial.
The second serial.
Right. The Daleks and the Khalids are the Khalids are the people who made the Daleks. Yeah. You'll find that out later on. But
so
was also the
anyway, I was just wondering if there's a correlation with violent species and how they develop nuclear weapons, and then later on relied on that radioactivity as an energy source.
Okay. This is the 1960s, okay? It was all steeped in nuclear energy, nuclear war, nuclear everything. And there was a whole lot of nuclear's bad, nuclear's good, nuclear's all this and that. And
turns out
it was just part of the course.
It's just terribly efficient.
Well, and today it's terribly efficient.
And there's some mismanaged situations like in Russia.
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
It was, today it's much better, but and the 2020s, 2010s much better.
Which is
1990s not as good.
It seems counterintuitive to a lot of green earthers that nuclear energy is actually green. Because they're
correct.
And also fracking
correct
is super efficient for extracting gases, but they're like, oh, it's bad for the planet, but it's really not. It's super efficient. I think America cut its greenhouse emissions in half because of fracking.
Fairly close, yes.
Yeah.
And
still we just have protests in fracking now.
We removed ourselves from the Paris Accords.
It's terribly efficient.
We've done more towards the Paris Accords than most of the other members have.
But it's kind of accidental, just as technology and energy efficient becomes more efficient with better technology. That wasn't even our goal at the time, but fracking and nuclear energy is it's really good for emissions.
Mm-hmm. Correct. What does it have to do with Doctor Who?
Nuclear stuff.
Okay. What's your next question?
Last question. We have the sonic screwdriver.
Which
something for the first time that isn't screwing.
Just a screwdriver. Just a screwdriver. Right. It's used later on as a screwdriver, but
apparently it's a terribly efficient blowtorch.
Right.
It reminds me of the Worms games where this little blowtorch blows out this huge tunnel system.
You know, given time, you can do anything.
What does the sonic screwdriver rely on as an energy source to where this tiny thing can drill a huge...
Nobody knows. Seriously, they don't address that. It just is what it is. Probably some sort of quantum energy.
Quantum. Fascinating. It reminded me of The Great Escape, where it's a movie where they're...
Really?
You know the scene where they're trying to dig under the walls, and they have this whole tunnel system, and they put the dirt in their pants, and then they would walk out in the courtyard, and they had to pull string to like shake out the dirt.
Seriously, The Great Escape? That's awesome.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. I did not know that you knew this movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
Anyway, that's just about all of my thoughts on the cereal.
Alright. We will see you either next week or the week after.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
once
if
again.
Sarah can join us next week, we'll be watching The Congress.
The Congress.
If not, we'll do more Drunk Doctor Who next week.
Yes.
Which will be...
what's the next episode? It didn't.
The next serial after the Dominators.
Are they not doing that anymore? Where they go next time and then they give you the teaser of the next serial?
Well, sometimes. Well,
they didn't tell us.
After this, there would be The Mind Robber.
Oh.
That's it. That's a good one. Very different. Also 5 episodes.
Now, we've talked before about Doctor Who antagonists and their running theme of mind control. Is this another mind control antagonist?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That happens a lot.
My Robber was interesting. We could see
Cybermen, Daleks.
No.
The Master. All mind control.
No. We could see Zoe in the cat suit.
I don't know. Who's Zoe in a cat suit?
Zoe in a cat suit.
Like, what is a cat suit? Like a cat?
Okay, you know yoga.
Cat woman.
You know yoga tights.
Unitar.
Yoga tights.
Oh, like the '70s with the sweatbands.
Not with sweatbands, but with the. Never mind. All right, we'll see you next time. Anyway, hey, we love you. Goodbye. All right.
Thank you once again for joining us.
If you did. There's 5 of you who joined us.
Tune in next week for a discussion on cat suits.